Hello, everybody. Sorry, I've been, I've been running about the house with the dogs. I'm a little bit out of breath, and they're now beside me thinking, can we keep running about? So, welcome along to the Afternoon Rabble here on the Rangers Rabble Podcast. I'm Martin, I'm your host, and my co-host today is the best-looking Ian we have on the podcast. Ian, how are you?
I'm all right. Never a truer word spoken. Hey, none of this. I don't have to fly to Turkey to sort myself out. Not me, no. I'm all right. It's been a long 5 weeks and 2 days. I've not been counting, but it's been a long 5 weeks and 2 days. But finally, they're back at school, and I can breathe again. Lovely.
Is that all they get off now? 5 weeks?
No, it's because they had a longer Easter. They had an extra week at Easter, so they get one less week at summer.
Ah, right, there we go. Martin and the Undertaker. How have you been, Ian, mate? It feels like I've not spoke to you for a while.
Well, I've been away. I went off to France and did like a 10-day out there driving around in France, which is just like heart attack rendering stuff when you kind of got to remember you're on the opposite side of the road to normal. And then, I come back and quickly jump in, probably the worst for wear I've ever done a 2K25 show in my life. I was knackered. But yeah, I've been all right. The season's not got much to write home about, but may make our own fun instead.
Yes, we've got a couple of things to discuss today. Obviously, people watching and in the comments. Firstly, if you're watching on YouTube, if you could give the show a like and make sure you're subscribed, that really does help. Also, a massive help will be if you can get your questions in. Because, folks, look, I'm always going to be honest with everybody. This is the most difficult time, and I hate this term, right? I despise this term, right? But this is the most difficult time as a content creator. I've never been really much of a creative person, to be honest. But with Rangers off for 2 weeks, I don't just want, and I said this on the Morning Rabble, I don't just want to have the same conversations every day, because then you don't want to watch, and then people don't watch, and then people don't come back because they're like that. That guy's at it. We're just having the same conversations. We are going to be discussing Miovski, Shermite, and Danilo today. Absolutely. Because Miovski's come out and made some comments that I think is going to annoy some people. Not us. Very good comments for us. But yeah, it's going to annoy some people. So get your questions in. Remember and start with a capital Q if you're asking a question, so I can differentiate from just normal comments. And I can confirm that there is absolutely zero Botox involved in this show.
Ooh.
No Botox, no eyebrow fixers or whatever you call them. There is not even any makeup. I'm just this naturally.
You're trying to pretend you don't know what the eyebrow work's called.
Don't know what it's called. Do you know, a while ago, so my missus does, like, sometimes she'll do 2 days in the office, sometimes it's 3 days in the office, and then sometimes she'll lie and say it's 4 days in the office when she has to go and see her bit on the side, right? But there was one day, it was just before school started back, and my daughter came to me and she went, "Dad, can you take me down to the nail shop? I need to get my nails done." And I'm like, "That, can you not just wait on your mum coming home? I don't know what to ask for." She's like, "Dad, don't worry, I know what to do. Down to the nail shop, Ian, right? Man, that's a scary place for a man to be. Very scary place.
I just keep walking. I go in there if they want, but I just keep walking.
Well, I'm not even going to talk about some of the conversations that I heard. But it was one of the ones where do you know that way? I went, "I can't take this anymore," and I went and stood outside, and then I just looked like a weirdo that was standing outside a nail shop. It's like, I don't salon. There you go, multiple man. At least multiple man knows what a nail salon is. There we go.
Because he googled it, probably.
Probably googled it. Yes, he's a googler as our multiple man. So yeah. I don't know why I brought that up. Actually, I really don't know why. Why was I bringing that up, Ian?
Because we have absolutely nothing to talk about.
We have absolutely nothing to talk about. We do have some questions coming in. I will say, Singing the Blues. We're not taking any WWE questions, but I will ask Ian quickly while he's here. Ian, have you created Singing the Blues and the Trying Scotsman's wrestlers yet?
We are halfway through. It's not an easy process. Each one takes a while because I've got to get it to look right, get the clothing right. Just so you know, the whole thing, when we reset it for 2K25, took me 48 hours to complete.
There you go. There you have your answer. You absolutely have your answer. Ian, since we haven't actually spoke since transfer deadline day, I will ask you a few questions that have been asked while I'm waiting on people to get their questions in. Are you at all worried about the left back situation?
Yeah, that was the one thing I wanted, and I put it in our chat as you guys were on live, that we needed cover at left back, because the mistake we made last year when Ridvan was injured is we only had Yefte, who had to play a lot more games than they ever planned to play him in. And now we've got a young lad on loan, so he's not even our player, on loan, who's the only one who can play in that position, by the looks of it. I don't know. So some talk that Del Boy, the new Del Boy that's in the club, Cornelius, can play left back as well as left centre back, but you need someone else in that position. So I was slightly disappointed that we didn't bring another left back in. I know we were linked with another young lad out of Juventus, but that just seemed to quickly disappear as quickly as it arrived as a rumour. So I thought they might have had a plan for that, but we haven't. I just can't see one left back in a season how that's going to be successful, because you've got to take into account that the kid's going to get injured or miss a game at some point.
Yeah, well, 100%. He can't play every single game. Because as Russell Martin rightly points out, Ian, we're still in all the cups.
Well, yeah,
so,
yeah.
We're
Just about.
Still in all the cups. We'll have got Hibs to play not too distant future. So we might not be in all the cups come that game. But we're still, right now as it stands, we're still in all the cups. Genuinely, right, taking this comment for AJ, needed this break from Rangers, right? Has this international break, Ian, came at the absolute perfect time for the football club and the fans?
I was thinking about this morning, actually. It's like normally you get to this point of the season, as much as an annoyance as it is that you get 4 weeks into an actual season and they do this. But it usually comes to it, and you've got something to look back on. We've either had some good European games that you can, I'll give that a watch again just to see if there's anything I missed. The potential of winning the first Old Firm derby of the season, watching that again, because who doesn't if you win an Old Firm game? This season, the start of this season, not one thing you'd want to look back on. Maybe Pilsen. Is that the only game? The one at home is the only one that you could look back on and go, what a performance that was. As for the rest of it, absolutely nothing. It's just that it's been a horrible, horrible start to the season. And I agree with the comment. It is, we just need a break from them for now. Get away from them, 2 week below break, get away from them. They come back, and hopefully, because he has kept saying it, that the squad and the team will look different at the end of the window. He wanted the end of the window. He's got it. So now he has to put his actions where his words were and show us what he meant. Hopefully he does. I don't have much hope, though. You're on mute.
You waited far too long to tell me that. Far, far too long to tell me that. Do you think that the fans have calmed down a bit with Martin because of the Old Firm game, in terms of how we looked defensively, in terms of the fact that he changed shape? Do you think that the fans have calmed down a little bit because, look, we're not here? It's a 2 week break, therefore, they can maybe just forget about football for a week or two? Or do you think it is just still there? There's just no avenue really to let it out?
I think the furore after the game against Bruges has died down. It's still there. It's simmering under the surface. We all expected to walk away from the Celtic game with an absolute pasting. Most of us did anyway. We all hoped that we'd win, but we all thought we were going to get absolutely hammered again because of the way that they like to play, which they didn't do. Whether we let them do that or whether it was just the fact that they're just god-awful the same as we are at the minute, I don't know. But I think the furore of it's died down. But when he comes back, it's another baptism of fire because he's got Hibs, Hearts, Livingston, who won't be easy because it's on their carpet. So those the three tricky ties that he's got to navigate. And if he gets one of those wrong, particularly if he comes back and it's Hearts and he gets that wrong, it's all going to be there again. And whatever relaxation we've had over the last 2 weeks of the international break and ignoring all them, it's just going to be right back there again, and we'll be right back where we were. So he's got to come in and smash it, otherwise he's going to be in a hiding to nothing again.
Do you think that starts to return the closer we get to? Is that a week on Saturday? The closer we get to the Hearts game, do you think that will come back? Do you think maybe because it's at Ibrox, remember, and obviously it's not really a game that we can preview yet, but do you think there'll be a lot less harsh voices, for lack of a better term, in the crowd? Do you think it will be like, let's wait and see what happens during this game, or do you think from the off again it will just be, no, we don't want them?
I think you got those in the support who are absolutely steadfast. I never wanted him. He's already shown why I don't want him, and he's never going to get them people back. The only way he gets them back is all those cups that he talks about, both the league, the League Cup, and the Scottish Cup. If he's waving all of them, then he gets them back at the end of the season. But there'll be that element that just looking for the first thing, and they'll be right back at it. I think now that the window's shut, and I think there's a realization that these owners aren't going to just act straight away. That there's a realization that he's here. He's here for an extended period of time, unless it goes horribly, horribly wrong again. So it's right. Let's see. You've told us that at the end of the window it's going to be different. Prove it, and if you prove it, we'll be back with you. But I think it's going to be bubbling under the surface all season.
Yeah, I tend to agree. Right now, Ian, Miovski is not a stupid man. Yes. He has spent a good amount of time in Scotland. He knows the culture of Scotland. He knows how Scottish football works, which makes these comments even more beautiful for me. Enjoyed my time at Aberdeen, but it's great. And I'm paraphrasing, but it's great to be at a bigger and more historic club. He knows exactly what he's doing there, Ian.
Yeah, he's telling the truth. That's exactly what he's doing. And he knows that. He knows exactly what he's doing. He knows what he's doing. He knows that will get their back up. I'm all for it. Keep doing it. Love it. I think Sky played their part after the Old Firm game as well by getting Miovski and Barron in the same shot at the same time, just to rub it in a little bit more. But yeah, he knows exactly what he's doing. He knows how Scottish football works. He knows that for whatever reason, their fans seem to think that we're some massive rival of theirs. And he's doing his best to play towards it, and fair play. As I say, you love to see it.
Right now, London, as he says, Aberdeen might finish above us. Right now, that's the only team I can say for definite that won't.
The only reason you look at the table because of where they are.
Yes, it's the only reason I've got the table screenshotted and put up on my wall, because Aberdeen are bottom. What do you make of this whole? Anytime an ex-Aberdeen player signs for Rangers, it's the worst thing in the world. I can't believe he's done that to our football club. But they sign for our neighbours across the city. They sign for Dundee United or whatever. Then it's not spoke about. What do you make of this? Again, it's a rivalry, and I think the more rivalries you've got in football, the better. Right? I think it makes for a more entertaining spectacle. But is this a bit like the Scotland-England thing, where Aberdeen maybe take it slightly more serious than we do?
I think it's fairly obvious that Aberdeen take it slightly more serious than we do. The team show that they take it more serious than we do most of the time, because they get themselves right up for Rangers coming to town. The support, I mean, last season did they not have tifos and fireworks when we rocked up at Aberdeen for the first time because they were above us in the league or whatever it was? They've put this rivalry, and yes, there is a rivalry there, because obviously you look back to the 90s, Aberdeen were the second best team for the most part for that 9 in a row run. They used to take us to the last game of the season themselves. So there is that little bit of rivalry there, but it was that and that only. It's not like it's a derby game or anything like that. They can think what they want. It's not a rivalry. I just don't get this whole thing when players come to us where they've got flags and whatever they use with the severed heads on it and that sort of stuff. You've signed for Rangers, you're dead to me now. I mean, I saw one on Sam North did his thing. What do you think about Miovski going to Aberdeen? And they just went, who? I mean, it's pathetic because they know who he is. They were literally crying.
The guy cutting up the Aberdeen top. I'm like,
yeah. I mean, they're crying because he went to us because they thought he was going to leave Girona in Spain, not Italy, and come to and go back to them. But like he said, he went to a bigger club with more history, more success, and hopefully he'll be the one that can bang the goals in this season to take us back there.
Yeah, we could probably get more of an away support than Aberdeen get a home support.
Yeah.
But there we go. Gallant has been a member now for 18 months. And I love his profile picture. Gallant, thank you very much. Trev has also been a member for 18 months. Trev, thank you very much. As always, a massive contributor to the show as well. And helps me out a lot and has helped me out a great deal. And will unfortunately have to help me out a great deal in the future. And the Sniper has upgraded, I believe, not a new, has upgraded his YouTube membership. So Sniper, thank you very much. Thank you for the support. We'll get to the questions in a wee second, but discussing Miovski does bring up, I suppose, a conversation that, I mean, we can have it until we're blue in the face. It's not going to change much until we see the way that the teams line up. But we have signed Yusuf Shermiti, Ian, for 8.5 million, rising to 10, if you are to believe. Some of the reports. We brought Miovski in for 2.5 million. Right now, as we sit here, Ian, I would be saying, if you were asking me to name a starting 11, I would have Miovski as my starting striker. To be honest, how do you see that working? And are we looking, because we are just not used to it, are we looking too much at the price?
Yeah, I mean, I heard Connor talk about this the other day, and he was bang on. He said it's not the lad's fault that he's cost us 8 million rising to 10. That, unfortunately, is the state of play down south in the Premier League. They paid, I think, was it just over 12 million for him, so they looked to recoup a lot of the money, if not all of it. They've set the price at 8. We've agreed that price. Don't forget that it won't be that we've just gone in, right, there's 8 million quid, with probably a structure to this payment that will pay you so much now, so much at the end of the season, so much at the start of next season, etc., unless it was a release clause. But yeah, I think, like Connor was right, you can't blame the lad for the price. He just has to come in and hopefully he gets a run, he gets settled, and he can bang some goals in, because he was scoring goals in Portugal. It's from what I've gathered from looking online from Everton supporters and what I've seen elsewhere, people chatting, saying that he was unlucky when he came in. He got injured, never got a run, played out of position, and only played bit parts coming on as a sub. We're all saying the same thing about Curtis, that you can't play these lads for 5 minutes here and there and hope that it all goes well. Curtis has taken it and scored goals every time he's come in, granted. So we're just going to have to be patient and hope that this kid gets a good run, gets settled, gets the confidence in. But for the beginning part, I agree with you that Miovski starts over him as the number 9, although he will be number 28.
Well, let me ask, and I've been guilty of this as well. So I just assume, right, that we've paid £8.5 million for a striker, right, who's 21. So therefore, automatically he has to start, right? And that's where your thought process goes. If Rangers pay anything over £5 million, if Rangers pay anything over £3 million for a player, your automatic go-to is, well, they have to start, right? There's no other option. You can't pay £8.5 million for a player and they just can't, and then they sit on the bench. However, under this new model, under these new owners, under the way the club's going, Ian, is it the case now that, because I can't remember who said it, but they were absolutely right, this won't be the last time we spend £8.5 million on a player. I think this is just the beginning, right? Mm-hmm. So is it the case that we can bring this guy in for £8.5 million and slowly build him into the team and have Miovski as that starting striker for even, I don't know, January, the rest of this season, maybe, or part of this season, and slowly bring Shermiti in and bed him into the team? And that's why I'm asking about you hear £8.5 million for Rangers and you automatically think, yep, that's a starter and he has to score 30, 35 goals this season. Do we need to change that mentality now?
You could kind of understand it in the fact that it's Scotland and it's £8 million for a player, which is huge money for Scottish football. If he had gone to another club in England, in the Premier League,
say lower, for 12.5. He went to Everton for 12.5.
He went to Everton for 12.5, and that doesn't even, in England, that doesn't mean you're a starter. That means you're a squad player. It's 12.5 million in England. That's a squad player. But up here, that would mean he starts every week. And in fact, if you want to pick the team, here's the team sheet, write down who you want. You've cost that much money. But I think the experience has to come in because the kid doesn't have a great deal of experience for one reason or another. Miovski does. So would the right thing not be play Miovski? And then if you need to bring Miovski off, if we get games where we need to have them both on the pitch, brilliant. And in training, you can get him to learn from Miovski, maybe Danilo as well, because Danilo does have attributes. He may not be the best striker in the world, but he does have an attribute. He knows where to be in that 6-yard line because that's how he scores most of his goals. But Miovski will bring in some experience and have him learn from it and push him through. Like you say, come to the tail end of this season, he could start firing the goals in, do a bit of a Carl Lafferty and have the best part of his year be in the final few months of the season.
Yeah. I think that we, as a support, not the Russell Martin stuff. I still don't think he's the right man. I still don't think he should be in a job, and I think it's a massive mistake from the owners in Thelwell that they haven't sorted that yet. Right? That my opinion isn't going to change on that until, and this again, just my opinion, isn't going to change on that until I see sustained progression, winning games constantly, creating chances, scoring goals, getting top of the league, getting deep into cups, winning cups. It's going to take that for Martin to change my mind. Right? So that's going to take a long, long time. I don't think he will. I don't think we'll get there under him. I think the board will realise in the near future that they've made a mistake and they will sack him. Hopefully that changes their thinking and they bring in a manager who can work with players and who's flexible. If Martin somehow has realised at the very last minute as we went to play Celtic that I need to change the way that I play, and he changes the way that he plays, and he's fortunate that the board have backed him and brought in players good enough for the league that we go on and start winning games and we go on and win the league, happy days. Hands up. Well done, Martin. Superb, mate. I got it completely wrong. I look like an idiot because I put myself out on the internet. I hope that is the case. I just don't think it will be. Right. So, taking that aside, I think now, and I'm sort of repeating myself here, when you bring in a player for that $8.5 million now, I don't think that we should look at that as because we've paid that amount of money, he has to be a starter. I don't think that's the way Thelwell's thinking. I don't think that's the way Purdy's thinking. I don't think that's the way the owners are thinking. $8.5 million for them is a drop in the ocean. If you consider the money that we've brought in for players, which actually I think Thelwell and Purdy, etc., deserve a bit of credit for. I think they deserve a lot of credit for the amount of money that they've brought into the football club. I think the net spend is about $6 million.
Yeah. It was,
so we paid
23 out, 29 in, or the other way around, whatever. But yeah, 6 million.
So we've spent £8.5 million on a player, and our net spend is $6 million. So I think that Thelwell and Purdy have to be given a lot of credit for that. Do they deserve to be given a lot of credit for the players that they've brought in? We don't know yet. But what I can't do, Ian, is go through the next month, 2 months, screaming and shouting about how the players they've brought in aren't good enough, why we've signed a young boy who's not scored any goals for $8.5 million to be a striker, or why is this young boy not went straight into the first team. I think for these players, taking away the Russell Martin aspect of it, which is a massive aspect of it and which can affect these players moving forward if he doesn't do his job right, taking that out, I think we have to start somewhere trusting someone at the football club that they're going to get it right.
Somewhere along the line, you would expect someone to get something right. It's not looked like that so far this season. But the main thing that happens is the 11 people that get put out on that pitch click and get it right and win games, and therefore the confidence in everyone else rises, and then we start to see the product we want to see on the pitch. And then that affects the off the pitch stuff, because then that model that we have started, we've got reported 6 million for a guy that we paid 600,000 for. We got 10.5 for a guy we paid 2 million for. So that started. But if the 11 players on the pitch click, and that's where it needs to click, the rest of it is an after effect of that happening, then it can only be better for us. So once that starts to click, and hopefully it does, because again, Southampton fans saying that it took a while for them to click, but when it did in the Championship, it all went well for a bit. I can't really say much about MK Dons in Swansea because I can't pretend that I've ever really sat down and watched them play football. But obviously, Martin got jobs on the back of what he'd done at other clubs at that point. So we've just got to hope it is all on that, what happens on the pitch. And if he can get them into it and they can click and that goes right, the rest of it follows. So he's got a couple of weeks now to sort that out in the training ground. Hopefully he has seen that idea of, like you say, with the Celtic game going, right, I've got it wrong so far. It's not worked. Let's change it. We'll move forward. We'll do what we did and build on what we had. And hopefully, with that, get a couple of shots on target in the game, which will also help you win. But it is that on the pitch stuff has to click for the rest of it to actually click into gear properly.
I mean, I disagree with this, Paul. So basically, there was no money available for this season without the new owners exchanging 20 million for shares. What happened to last season's money? I think they've spent money. I think they have spent money. I know that we've got a lot of money in, but I don't think that changes the fact that we have money to spend. I think they're going to try and spend it wisely. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. But if, for example, they had another left back out there that they wanted to bring in and he was going to cost 5, 6, 7 million, they would have probably went and spent that. There is 100% money at the football club. We have rather rich owners who are more than happy to put their hand in their pocket.
Also, look back to the start of last season. How many players left the club for a grand total of £800,000?
Yeah.
This season, they've let less than that have gone for money, and they've made 20 times more than that. So these guys know what they're doing. They're businessmen. Not only have they brought a load of players in, go and have a look at how many people we've actually brought in. To have a net spend of £6 million is just absolutely bang on the banana business.
Yes, it is bang on the banana business. And Great Wall of Canada, as I like to call it. 8 mil for a bench warm-up would be ridiculous. In normal circumstances, under previous boards, I would say 100% yes. I just don't think it's the same under this ownership. And if we have paid 8 million for the boy, right? If he sits on the bench, doesn't get much game time, and then next season doesn't play in the team, and he goes for a free at the end of his contract or something, or we sell him for a couple of million, then that's ridiculous. If that boy gets enough time to settle into the football club, but Miovski's starting and scoring goals, and he's brought in as a bit part player to begin with, a bit of a rotational player to help his confidence and to build up his game time, and then starts firing. Well, if he's spent 4 or 5 months on the bench and then comes in and starts firing, then that's money well spent. My whole point is, yes, it has to work paying 8.5 million for a player. He has to come good. I just don't think he has to come good right away. It's just my own personal opinion. I just don't think it has to be right. He has to go and score a double against Hearts, and then he has to score 2 against Hibs, and he has to come in. Because I've been thinking about this, to be honest. And when we first signed him, that was my first thought, that he has to come in and hit the ground running. I don't think that's the case now. Although it might be, again, just
there's nothing to say he won't come in, play against Hearts,
and there's nothing to say that he won't. Yeah, absolutely. But there's nothing to say that he comes in and plays against Hearts and doesn't look great, and then spends 2 or 3 weeks on the bench and gets a bit of training and builds up his confidence and then comes back into the team and does well. I just don't think we should be jumping on top of the fee, is all I'm saying. But a super chat in from Blue Fox. Thank you very much, channel member Blue Fox. Thank you. After the start we've had, realistically, what do we think will be a successful season? The title, silverware, last 16. Ian, for me, the money that we have went and spent, regardless of how much money we've sold, the business that our neighbours have done up until January, as I sit here right now, we have to win the league.
Yeah, looking at everything that's unfolded between, I know that we've had an absolutely terrible start, and we didn't do ourselves any favours on Sunday against them, because if we'd done that, 3 points behind, I genuinely think if we'd actually scored early doors, we could have actually run away with that more. Just the way we played in that first half. Second half, we tailed off, but first half, I think we were all over them. And if we got 1, I think we could have got 2 and 3 fairly quickly, but it didn't happen. So ifs, buts, and maybes. But the way that they look, the way that their fans are falling apart at the seams just because it's not been a good transfer window, the rumours that you're hearing about them and all the rest of it, that we have to get that pressure back on and start pushing to win the league. I think that is it. The league, if it was the league on its own and nothing else, I don't see how you can't say that's not a successful season. But definitely need to get into the finals of both cups, if not winning at least one of the other 2. Europe will take care of itself. It is a favourable, shall we say, this time, for the most part, draw in the Europa League. So if we could finish top 8 again in that would be superb. But even if we had to go to the playoff, I think that's the minimum requirement for Europe, is the playoff. spots. But yeah, I think right now, as it stands, like you said, the way that they've gone, I know we've had a terrible start to the season and nothing looks further away in the distance, but I think this is the opportunity to get that league title back and build on it. So that's what I would hope we're going to go for. And if he doesn't get it right when they come back after the first 2 weeks, he goes, we get someone in who can deliver that.
100%. He has to go. If we don't beat Hearts, for God's sake, they have to act and just do it there and then. Because, yeah, I'm with you, mate. The money that we've spent, the players that we've brought into the football club, there's no excuse to not go on and win the league.
Nope.
There's absolutely no excuse. Had Celtic went out and spent 20, 25, 30 million in the transfer window, then my answer would have been, we need to be competitive. And, you know, we need to try and win the league. But if we get a cup, if we get both cups and we come really close in the league, albeit with the money that Celtic would spend, then you can maybe class that as a successful season. And then the following season, you need to go on and win the league.
Yeah.
But the fact that they've done no business, they've done no business, Ian, and sold a few of the players. We have to take advantage of that and we have to go and win the league. But I will say this point again. I don't think we do that under Russell Martin.
No, I mean, with the transfer window, if they'd got the guy from Anderlecht, or was it Dolberg, who chose to go to Ajax on loan instead, then you're sitting here today going, they've won the league, it's done. Because we're 7th, we're 6 points behind, they're going to score goals for fun. But because they've instead brought in Iniacho, who is the size of 2 players, let alone 1, at the moment, that's not gone down well. So I think, like so, we've got the players to do it. Have we got the manager to do it? That's the problem. We'll find out in the fullness of time. But come back against Hearts, gets a result, and the confidence breeds, and everything clicks into place. Brilliant. If we come back, we lose to Hearts. We cannot go into the Hibs game with him in the dugout. There's no way it can happen.
No, listen, I'm not going to be one of these guys who sits here and slags any players that they bring in, because the minute you do that, then the players turn out to be worldies. They absolutely do. So I'm saying absolutely nothing about Iniacho. I don't know anything about the boy. I know he was at Leicester. I don't know anything about him, but I'm not going to sit here and slag him because no matter what they do, no matter what strikers they bring in, they always score against us. I know they didn't in the last game, but 9 times out of 10, their strikers always score against us. So I ain't sitting here saying anything about anybody that they bring in, because it'll come back and bite me on the arse. Gaz, channel member, super chat, thank you very much, Gaz. If Martin gets his finger out, we can finish first. Yeah, if Martin can change his whole football and philosophy, Ian, we can absolutely finish first. If Martin can do more about what he done against Celtic, but make us more potent in attack, then absolutely we can finish first.
Yeah, we need to get off this whole we've had the most shots in the league, because the most shots doesn't win you games. The most goals wins you games. And to go back to that Old Firm game again, to be at home and play 9 minutes against your biggest rivals in the league and have 4 shots and 0 on target, and then say felt you were disappointed not to win it, I don't know what planet he lives on. Because if you don't have a shot on target, you can't score, generally. I know we won one Old Firm game back when the COVID season where McGregor scored. We didn't have a shot on target all game and still won, but it's rare that happens. So it's about transferring those shots that we're having into goals and getting it. I think we do have at least one striker. Then that's pretty much what we've done. We've now replaced it. We've still got that one striker that can score goals that we know of. It's just we've just got to get it all together. The midfield have got to start chipping in a bit better and playing better, because you said many a time on pods this season, where the hell is our midfield? We don't seem to have one. It looked better. I think the positive out of this transfer window from us is the fact that Raskin is coming back into the fold. Whether that just be till January and we sell him to make a profit, let's hope we have a great few months out of him. But we've got to turn the shots into goals, and if we do that, we're in for a great shout of winning something.
Yes, if he changes the way that he thinks about the game. Paul McCorrickle, member for 19 months. Thank you, Paul. Rabble forever. Well, thank you very much, Paul. That's greatly appreciated.
There's a film there.
There is a film there, by the way. If somebody wants to come to me and we'll make a film, then absolutely. Linda McLean, do you think 2 weeks of training under Martin will make us even worse? Enough time to ruin the new players? That's my worry, Ian. And I'm not being facetious and I'm not taking the piss. I just don't want him to train his way of playing into these players. It's a worry. It really is.
It was what we were saying before the game. And it wasn't just us in our chat. It was on social medias. It was on other channels and all the rest of it. Get Miovski in the game this week before he has a chance to train under Martin, before he ruins it. So you've got evidence. Gassam, Ant-Man, Dejiga, they all look great. And then they had a few training sessions under Russell Martin, and they look awful. If he's changed the way he's going to do things and train differently, to play differently, then hopefully that all works. But at the moment, the man does not fill any of us with any confidence whatsoever. So hopefully he doesn't train the good out of Miovski and co, who have just come in.
Hopefully. Right, folks, that will do us for the afternoon show. I am back tonight at 7 p.m. Myself and David Edgar of Heart and Hand will be discussing everything Rangers. We'll probably be looking back at the Old Firm, looking at the transfer window, and looking at what life might look like for us when we come back from the international break. So thank you everybody for tuning in. Please make sure, if you're watching on YouTube and you haven't already, leave a like. Make sure that you are subscribed to the channel as well. And if you want to help out a little bit further, then you can, as many people have over the last couple of weeks, become a channel member and get access to loads of extra content. See you at 7:02 London, and get access to loads and loads of extra content as well. We do up to 14 shows a week, member shows a week, Ian. We do at least 14 member shows a week, and it's not just all about Rangers. We've got some wrestling in there. There's a movie review show that hasn't been done for a while. The EPL show will be on its way back soon. There's the Extreme Gaming podcast, along with a midweek members show. We've got the Random Rabble at the weekends. We've got the Sunday Supplement at the weekends. And we've also got the Boardroom as well for the...
Not to get the SPFL show as well.
And sponsorship, and the SPFL show as well. So there is loads and loads of extra content there if you fancy it and you want to help out the show a little bit more. Links are in the description. Whether you prefer YouTube or Patreon, it's completely up to you. Take your pick, whatever you fancy, and you're helping to support the show. I have not had my eyebrows done, folks. Go back and check previous shows. My eyebrows have not changed. I don't know what's going on. Right, Ian, thank you very much.
No problem, thank you. It's great to be back on an afternoon rabble. Oh, it's lovely.
Ian, you said that with all the sincerity of a fat guy saying to his missus, thank you for not buying chocolate.
No, if she doesn't buy chocolate, then she gets sent back out to buy some more. So that's not having that.
Right, folks, thank you very much for tuning in. As I always say, your support is greatly, greatly appreciated. Thank you very much. And if you're watching this live, we'll see you back at 7. If you're listening to this back, I'll see you back at 7. And if you're watching this tomorrow, go and watch that show that was on yesterday at 7.